My name is Yuyun Muhawari. I want to explain about my poem proposal and the title, The Effectiveness of Good Investigation GI Method on Student Writing Descriptive Text, 8th grade SMP and School Technical. The content consists of Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. We start with Chapter 1. Background of the problem. Based on observation and acceptance of Filipino, students had unsatisfactory assessment. It shows students consider that skill of descriptive text in English is very difficult. Why? Because there are several aspects of language. They are proper vocabulary, good and correct grammar, and the use of correct spelling and punctuation. So, the student must master if they want to be skilled in writing in the text. Identification of problem. 1. The student lack of vocabulary. The student have low grammar structure. The student often make mistakes in writing. And the last, the student have difficulty to writing, especially descriptive text. Limitation of the problem. In the limitation of the problem, in the research, the researcher focused on the student have difficulty to writing, especially descriptive text. Research question. How is the effectiveness of the investigation GI method on student writing descriptive text at 8th grade of SMP Negeri School Tanjung Pinang? Objective of the research. To find out whether is the effectiveness group investigation GI method on students writing descriptive text at 8th grade of SMP Negeri School Tanjung Pinang. Significance of the study. Theoretical significance for education. For education, the result of this study can add research, reference in field of education, especially in English education. Practical significance for students. It will help to make students can easy to understand when they are learning about descriptive text. And next, for researchers. For researchers, add to the knowledge of researchers in the method of learning descriptive text by using group investigation. And the last for teachers. For teachers, the research is expected to be learning to write descriptive text for students. Definition of the key terms. Group investigation. Group investigation is small group that allows a class to work actively and collaborative in their own learning about goals and process in descriptive text. Writing. Writing is the process of using symbols to communicate thought and ideas in readable form. And the last, descriptive text. This descriptive text, like its purpose to describe about animal, person, place, or thing. Chapter 2, Writing. Definition of writing. According to Smith, 2012, writing is a discipline that leads to analytical, critical, and logical thinking. That means writing requires a structured argument that is based on sound evidence and that leads inevitably to a logical or conclusion. According to Powell, 2011, writing is topic that is basically difficult because the discussion takes place in the way that is being discussed. Writing is third a process. According Langan, 2010. Kinds of writing. Oshima and Hagu, 2007, state the writing into four kinds. They are narration, description, exposition, and recount. The process of writing. According to Oshima and Hagu, 2007, good readers go through several steps to produce a piece of writing. They are proofreading, organizing, writing, and revising. The purpose of writing. Greenville in City Mortina, 2018, there are some purposes of writing listed as follow: entertain, inform, and persuade. Next, teaching writing. Former in Rapi, 2016, the reason for teaching writing to students of English as foreign language include reinforcement, language development, learning style, and most importantly, and more writing as skill in its own right. Next, teaching writing in junior high school, that's on the competency standard and basic competencies recommended by the government. There are some types of writing have to be taught in junior high school. They are procedure, descriptive, recount, and narrative. Descriptive text. Definition of descriptive. Pardiono, 2007. Description is the type written text which has a specific function. Given description about an object, human or non-human. Purpose of descriptive text. Based on Exler and Cooper, 2010, we can use description for many purposes. They are to give the readers an impression of person, things, or place, to illustrate abstract ideas, to make information memorable, or to support an argument. General structure of descriptive text. Pardiono, 2007, states that a descriptive text has a structure, a set, or an pattern. They are identification and description. Language feature of descriptive text. Descriptive text use declarative sentence, use conjunction. Using conjunction is to create a coherent text. Use of simple present tense. Tense used in descriptive text is present tense because it tells about the fact or reality. The formula of present tense is subject plus verb 1 or S plus to be, is, am, or are, and use of adjective, verb, noun, and adverb. This is the example of descriptive text. Identification and description. Both animals, flamingo. Group investigation. Definition of group investigation. Slavic and Rowley, 2003. Group investigation is cooperative learning in which students have defined topics for study and then work together to complete their investigations. This journey, 2009, is an organizational approach that allows the class to work actively and cooperatively in small groups and allows students to take an active role in setting their own goals and learning process. Group investigation is method for classroom instruction in which students work collaboratively and small groups to examine, experience, and understand their topic study by Sharon and Sharon in her book. The step of group investigation. According to Slavin et Untoro, 2016, group investigation students work through 6 steps. First, identifying the topic and organizing in groups. Next, planning the investigation in group. Next, carrying out the investigation. Next, preparing a final report. Then, presenting in the final report, and the last, evaluating assessment. Review of the related findings. The article 2016 conducted her research entitled The Effectiveness of Group Investigation in Teaching Writing Announcement Fact. Rina Maisari, 2012, conducted her research entitled The Use of Group Investigation to Improve Student Ability in Writing Skill on Analytical Exposition Text. Question 2 November. Terms and activity in case of writing in both experimental class and control class. Group investigation GM method in experimental class and lecture method in control class. The output to find out later is the effectiveness of group investigation GM method on student writing descriptive text at each grade of SMP Negeri 10 Tanjung Pinang. Hypothesis: there is no effectiveness of group investigation GMS on student writing descriptive text at each grade of SMP Negeri 10 Tanjung Pinang. There is effectiveness of group investigation GMS on student writing descriptive text at each grade of SMP Negeri 10 Tanjung Pinang. Research method. The researcher used quasi-experimental and used two classes, namely experimental class and control class. Time and location of the research. Location of the research in SMP Negeri 10 Tanjung Pinang. The school location at Sultan Mahmud Street, Tanjung Unggah, Kecamatan Bukit Bestari, Tanjung Pinang. The time on August 2020. Research procedures. The test is used to determine the ability of students to write descriptive text in each grade student of SMP Negeri School Tanjung Pinang. The test is divided into two ways, pre-test and post-test. Population and sample. The researcher used each grade student in SMP Negeri School Tanjung Pinang. And the sample, the researcher used kelas 82 dan 86. Research instrument. In the research instrument, the researcher used writing test. Technique of collecting data. Pretest and post-test. Pretest will be given before treatment, and the post-test will give after treatment. Technique of data analysis. The data they have been collected from pretest and post-test, then we are analyzed by following steps. The first, investigating student worksheets, giving score, and describing score in table. Next, use determinant of variable x and determinant of variable y. And then determine standard of deviation score to variable x and variable y. Determine standard error of mean of variable x and determine standard error of mean of variable y. Then determine standard error of difference of mean of variable x and y. And then use determining t-test, and the last use determining t-table is significant level 5% with degree of freedom. I think that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.